Yeah, hello, my dear audience. My name is Marc-André Kaufhold, and I would like to present our paper, We Do Not Have the Capacity to Monitor All Media, a design case study on cyber situational awareness in computer emergency response teams, which, together with my co-authors Thea Riebe, Markus and Christian Reuter, was submitted to CHI. At the Technical University of Darmstadt, my colleagues and I work at the Chair of Science and Technology for Peace and Security, which is positioned at the intersection of the disciplines cybersecurity and privacy, peace and conflict studies, and human-computer interaction. This work focuses on so-called computer emergency response teams, which provide cybersecurity services for authorities, citizens, and other organizations such as critical infrastructure providers, as well as small and medium-sized enterprises. Besides reactive measures in the case of a cyber attack, such as issuing alerts and managing vulnerabilities, they provide proactive actions, including the monitoring of intrusion detection systems and also security quality services, such as risk analysis and security consultation. However, due to the increasing digitization of infrastructures and also the increase of cyber attacks, the tasks of monitoring, analyzing, and communicating cyber threats have become more challenging. Besides the potential of information overload induced by the volume of information disseminated through public and social channels, there are also severe information quality concerns when using information from unverified sources, especially social media. And furthermore, in a pre-study conducted by us, CERT employees indicated a lack of tool support for establishing awareness over the cyberspace. So this called cyber situational awareness is an extension of situational awareness, which was defined by Ansley in 1995, and it comprises at first a perception of pertinent elements in the cyber environment, which includes the awareness on the current situation, the impact of an attack, and the quality and trustworthiness of information. Second, the comprehension of their significance, which means why and how the current situation is caused and how the situation will evolve. And third and finally, the projection of future states and events, including plausible outcomes of the incident. In practice and research, cyber situational awareness is sometimes divided into three core areas. While on the one hand, network awareness requires to understand the organization structure of the network and to manage its asset and configurations, threat awareness, on the other hand, looks outwards from the organization to identify, track, and stay current on both internal and external threats, which requires participating in information sharing communities. Finally, mission awareness requires to prioritize security incidents with regard to their potential impact on the respective organization. Considering the challenges outlined on our motivation slide, we followed a grounded design approach, which compromises the tentative artifact design to satisfy user requirements grounded in practice, and the analysis of its appropriation and use to generate new design ideas by means of formative evaluation. Thus, grounded design is suitable to identify different types of design knowledge, such as fieldwork-informed design knowledge, which amongst others comprises the elicitation of user requirements based on ethnographic interventions. However, user requirements are often specialized for a specific tool and thus lack the capacity for generalization. In order to generate findings that are more generalizable for a class of tools, design heuristics might be identified as a type of practice-informed design knowledge by the means of formative evaluation. Grounded design advocates the conduction of design case studies, which are an iterative approach combining, first, empirical pre-studies to analyze social and organizational practices, second, the design of innovative artifacts which tackle identified challenges, and finally, evaluation sessions to analyze their appropriation in practice. Overall, by following this approach, we want to address the following research questions. What are user requirements in design heuristics for a cross-platform cybersecurity tool to facilitate the cyber situational awareness of CERTs? In summary, we conducted 3 iterations of our design case study. As an empirical pre-study, we conducted semi-structured interviews with German CERT employees to investigate organizational practices, urgent challenges, and potentials for tool support. These interviews served as a source for requirement elicitation, and in subsequent design workshops with practitioners and researchers, we conceptualized a back-end architecture and a low-fidelity mock-up of the front end on the one hand, and elaborated, initial, refined, and prioritized set of user requirements on the other hand. As a means of formative evaluation, we conducted cognitive walkthroughs combined with a coaching-oriented think aloud protocol to accumulate knowledge for the formulation of design heuristics. However, although we designed tasks for the walkthrough, most participants preferred the free exploration of the tool, having their own tasks in mind. In the empirical pre-study, we saw that CERTs conduct multiple activities, which can be categorized with regard to cyber situational awareness. While detection and reporting of organizational incidents generally relates to network awareness, they monitor multiple external sources such as manufacturer websites, security advisories, and social media to enhance their threat awareness. In Europe, for instance, the open source threat intelligence and sharing platform called MISP is used for information sharing across CERTs, and in Germany, all state CERTs are connected via the administrative CERT network, which employs a chat for interorganizational collaboration. Finally, in terms of mission awareness, CERTs distribute daily reports, specific recommendations, or even general warnings to a large variety of different stakeholders. While we identified a large number of fine-grained user requirements over the course of our interviews and design workshops, within this paper, we summarized them as 16 coarse-grained user requirements and categorized them with regard to the gathering, analysis, and communication of cybersecurity relevant information. At this point, due to time constraints, I will not delve deeper into the user requirements, but feel free to pause the video or read the related design objectives within the paper. At the core of our tool, called Cyber Threats Observatory, lies the analytical dashboard. The first feed comprises security advisories where software and hardware vendors report the vulnerabilities that were detected in their products, as well as information on workarounds and mitigations. Here, the users can decide which vendor RSS feeds relevant for the scope of analysis should be displayed. Additional information of vulnerabilities that are potentially not yet available in security advisories can be queried from national vulnerability databases, where vulnerabilities get a unique CVE identifier, summary, references to advisories, solutions, and tools, and their criticality is rated according to a so-called CVSS score. We furthermore integrated an indicators of compromise database, which are artifacts observed on a network or an operating system that, with a high confidence, indicate a computer intrusion. Besides their informational value, these IOCs can also be used to train intrusion detection systems. Sometimes relevant vulnerability information is faster disseminated via security experts in social media, which is why we integrated Reddit and Twitter in the current version. We also integrated a chat to evaluate the potential usefulness of an interorganizational chat within other CERTs and employees. For interactive filtering, the user can click on the critical bar to only show critical vulnerabilities, but further filtering types are available using the drop-down menu. Furthermore, feeds can be hidden if they are not relevant for a specific scope of analysis, and also a search function was implemented to allow a cross-channel search for information. Finally, the operator can pin important pieces of information, for instance, if they are required for the analysis of a specific incident or as part of an upcoming stakeholder report or warning. The evaluation of the tool by cognitive walkthroughs and semi-structured interviews yielded 8 design heuristics. In terms of threat awareness, it became apparent that such tools should support the automatic and modular integration of closed and public information sources, while we realized an automated gathering of information by several APIs using standardized exchange formats and provided a modular integration of data sources by programming. Some participants wished for the integration of an external plugin system to ease source integration. Furthermore, tools should provide an interoperable and privacy-preserving data management. In our case, we converted heterogeneous data into a unified exchange format called activity streams and offer configurable options for storage and retention periods of both data and metadata, so that the tool can be configured according to local data protection and privacy regulations. One of the most valued features of our tool was the customizable visualization of relevant cyber threat information. Overall, our dashboard provided an overview and interactive filtering of data and visualizations, and operators can retrieve and export detailed information on demand. Here, some professional users would still like to use regex commands for more efficient tool use by their keyboard. In future research, one of the most promising potential lies in the facilitation of relationship awareness between different cyber threat information and feeds. An important precursor for relationship awareness would be the reduction of redundancies, which could be achieved by clustering algorithms. Furthermore, in the current version of our tool, we only provided a global search so that the user can look for specific products across different feeds. In future, however, direct cross-references between feeds should be adapted, for instance, by highlighting a selected CVE vulnerability, also in corresponding security advisories and social media posts. And with that, I want to conclude my presentation. If you are interested in further information, such as the tool's communication comment and design heuristics for mission awareness, please feel free to read our paper. At this slide, you'll find a brief overview of the research questions, contribution, as well as the limitations and future work. Thank you for your attention.